AITA wedding dress fiasco. I am a 27-year-old woman who just got engaged in October 2021 and has only recently began planning for my wedding. The engagement of one of my friends took place in December 2020, almost a year and a half ago, but the couple has yet to begin planning their wedding. The only problem is that she just discovered a wedding dress from a designer that we both admire and presented it to me as her own, despite the fact that she had 1. Never seen the garment in person, 2. Never tried it on, and 3. Had never purchased it. Never once did I contemplate fighting with her about the fact that she couldn't claim a dress she'd never seen before because I didn't think it would look well on my body type. However, my mother and I paid a visit to that designer's bridal showroom over the weekend, and I ended up wearing my friend's dream dress on the spur of the moment, since none of the other dresses I tried on were really flattering on my body type. As soon as I put it on, I knew it was the one for me. I felt and seemed to be a princess, and I was positive that this was the costume for me. I was wrong. Immediately after making the decision to purchase the clothing, I was overcome by an overwhelming sensation of humiliation. Despite the fact that I had never seen the dress in person, I informed my mother and the wedding planner about my friend's desire for it. It was both of them who informed me that she had unfairly put me in this situation, and that I should wear the dress to my wedding if I felt comfortable in it. Several days later, I notified my friend that I had picked her dream dress, and she expressed disappointment, saying that I had ruined her wedding vision, and that she would have began preparing months earlier if she had known I would consider wearing her dream dress. We spoke about how I should have been more gracious as a friend and not tried on the dress since she had claimed it. She said I should have been more courteous as a friend and not tried on the dress because she had claimed it. To be honest, it seems insane to me that they would claim first dibs on a garment they'd never seen or put on. Honestly, I'm almost more enraged than I am guilty at this moment, since I know she won't be pleased that I chose an outfit that makes me feel good about myself. I informed her that the dress is also available in a different shade of ivory, and that I didn't mind if she chose the same outfit as long as we could continue our conversation in the same manner. Regarding the wedding gown issue, I think she has great hopes for a solution. But, AITA, how did I find out about it? Story 2. AITA for refusing to talk with my mother. I, a 21-year-old female, like my long hair. Due to the fact that my mother, 54 female, used to take me to the salon and demand that they cut my hair really short when I was a child. When I was a teen, I stopped going to the salon with my mother, and as a result, my hair was long. It was just 3 days ago that things began to alter. COVID made it impossible for me to see my own hairdresser since their location is a bit out of the way from my house. Eventually, my hair started to have split ends, and it began to fall below my buttocks. My mom was planning to cut her hair since she enjoys having short hair. She invited me to accompany her, but I declined at first since I didn't trust her. It occurred to me that Mom may perform the same prank she did when I was younger, instructing others to cut my hair shorter. She protested and said that she would not do anything and that it was none of her business to do so. So I agreed, and she scheduled an appointment for me as well. My hair was being styled by 2 staff since it was much too long when we arrived. It is something I continually remind them of because when my hair gets cut short, I find myself in a poor place mentally. All right, we're not going to cut it short. A female pushed the comb on my waist and informed me, I'm going to trim it from here, okay? I agreed since my waist is a comfortable length for me. Then she chopped it from above, and I was certain it was her hand or something like that. When they were finished cutting my hair, they showed me my hair, which was the size of a palm below my shoulders. I can't reach my hair from the back of my head without pulling my arms backwards. The fact that they took such a long time to do the task, apparently because I'm a doormat, made me weep when we returned home, but I couldn't express my feelings. It hasn't stopped, and I still weep when I look in the mirror or when I brush my teeth. I informed my mother that I was going to file a complaint against the hairdresser, and she agreed. I instructed them to keep it at that length. You should express your gratitude to me since things are better today. When I heard this, I became enraged with her, with my hairdresser for not listening to me as an adult and my wants about my hair, and I became enraged with myself for having put my faith in my mother. I still filed a complaint, and my brother and father both agreed, with my father saying, I'm on your side on this, and I'll be there to assist you with the case if anything arises. However, I am not in communication with my mother. I refuse to refer to her as such, and I have said unequivocally that she is no longer alive in my eyes. I refer to her as my brother's mother or my father's wife, depending on the situation. My brother is okay with it, but my father believes that, despite the fact that I'm correct, I should refrain from doing so since she is, after all, my mother. But when I think back on the times she forgiven me for my faults, it makes me feel horrible about how I've been treating her. My father is adamant that I should quit, claiming that my hair will regrow, and that I should not continue to argue with my mother. Update. Hello? I've chosen to post an update after more than a month of silence. This month has been very challenging. I was the most rude person I'd ever been to my mother in all of my years of living. Each and every day we were bickering, and she never apologized for it. Rather of saying, "I'm sorry," she likes to do things for me, such as making me lovely breakfasts, cooking my favorite dinners, purchasing clothes for me, and other similar things instead of saying I'm sorry. I, on the other hand, thought that these gestures were inadequate and continued to insist on a formal apology from her because I wanted her to acknowledge the harm she had caused me by her actions. My sincere apologies were just recently received. This particular day, my brother and his pals were out having a good time, and my father was also traveling for work purposes. All's that easy, I previously said. All I want is an apology, and that's it. Please accept my apologies on behalf of those who are not here, and everything will be okay. The words "I'm sorry" were murmured through tears that flowed down her cheeks. Eventually, I broke down and said, "What are you sorry for?" "I'm sorry for causing you any inconvenience by asking them to cut your hair," she apologized. My eyes well up with tears. Once she apologized, I accepted her apology, and we both shed a few tears while holding one another. Then it'll be a long time before we have another argument. Following the interval of sobbing, she introduced me to several Instagram accounts of hair specialists who were offering long hair ideas and other tips and suggestions. I believe she has gotten a more complete knowledge of the situation. It is still possible that I will not accompany her to the hair salon, but that will be fine. My mental health and my strong commitment to my hair had piqued the interest of many who were worried about me. They were right to be concerned, but I was unable to find a psychologist who fit all of my needs. Even though we're continuing our search, we apologize for the lack of encouraging news in this respect. As a side note, the complaint that I submitted has still not been handled. In order to avoid conflict with national holidays around this time, the organization kept pushing the date back, but I kept calling them almost every day until it was ultimately established. Despite the fact that the lady who answers the phone is most likely irate, my determination stays unwavering. I will see to it that justice is carried out. After consulting with my mother, I decided to drop the case since the hairdresser was not the business's owner but a subordinate. "Please don't push her to quit since she is making a living there," my mother said, to which I answered, "Well, I'll be graduating next year, and if I start working and do anything wrong, people will report and you should be aware that things do not work in the way in which you want them to. That's all there is to it." It was also important for me to convey my appreciation for your kind comments, advice, and support. I would have accepted your offer to dinner even if you hadn't said anything, yet I refrained from doing so because of your remarks. I still ate the food though. Hope this is an acceptable update for everyone.